Hi there! Today, I'd like to share my personal perspective regarding many of the content that I've been seeing and coming across on social media. Because I feel that it's very important that we talk about this. That when it comes to relationship advices, nowadays we see a lot of content talking about the masculine feminine energies, the polarity. And then while this is very important and actually like life changing, the problem that I see is that many of this content, for example, when targeting to women wanting better relationships, they often has this tone of making him fall in love, make him chase, how to attract him, and etc. And I noticed something that at first I didn't know exactly what was really bothering me. I couldn't pinpoint it. But then I realized this is that this content, they talk as if like men are like a kind of object. I don't know how to describe it. It's like there is a lack of individuality, as in like just any man would be fine. Any man would be, as long as he's high value and etc. And it kind of feels like the similar thing is happening for content targeting men who actually want serious relationships as well. That many men see those content like how to attract women, how to make her fall in love with you. All this content actually makes it very, lacking the real thing. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, but lacking the real thing. And why is that? What I feel after all the experience that I have in my own relationships is that connection is something natural and organic. It's something heart to heart. And it's not something that you can make someone exactly to fall in love and make someone to, be attracted to you and etc. What you can do through those kind of manipulations is to actually grab on them psychologically, often through their traumas, through their unhealthy psychological patterns. So you can grab on their insecurities and make them, because of their insecurities, trauma bond with you. And that is not what real connection is about. And it's important to differentiate, because what I feel that it's important that when we learn about how to do this and that, when we try to understand how the masculine essence works, how the feminine essence works, and when we learn relationship tips and advices, it shouldn't be for manipulation, but rather to make it more possible to have a genuine connection. So what happens is that usually when we don't have a very deep understanding of how the masculine works, for example. So, for example, many masculine men, the more masculine they are, the more they usually tend to feel, if they are not mature enough, they might tend to need space when we have a conflict so that they can gather themselves and then come up with something to fix the situation. But when we understand it, so we know how to navigate better in the relationship so that we make it more possible to have a genuine connection. But if we learn for the sake of manipulation, so imagine that you hear a tip about, if he distances, you match his energy. What happens is that if you just hear that, what you would feel is that you would still feel insecure. And you would wonder, when is he coming back? Why is he not coming back? And etc. And you carry that energy. And what resonates with you on the other side? the man would only come back if he feels that I'm losing her and all, and like you're triggering his insecurities so that he comes back. And the healthy version is actually if you understand that, okay, the man usually needs space. So if he distances himself, then I can understand it's not personal. So you would like feel naturally calmer. So then by the time that he comes back and he senses that you have the receptivity because you have an understanding, let's say that, okay, the masculine usually needs space, so it's not personal. Then you can communicate like, hey, by the way, when you need space, you can next time tell me, it would assure me, then I would feel better. Then you see, this compared to manipulation, this makes the genuine development, the genuine growth of the connection and a safe space possible. So when we learn about the relationship skills, when we hear about those tips and advices, it's important that when we want to incorporate them, we incorporate them from a place of true resonance and not from a place of, okay, I want this outcome, I want to manipulate them. Because the more, you see, the more you lean onto the manipulation place, the more you're just holding each other through trauma bonding. And I can tell you, like, so I've been studying extensively. I've been researching extensively on human relations. And I've also been enrolled in this course called Awareness Facilitator School from my beloved teacher, Satya. And in this 2 years school, which I'm still in studying, they teach a lot about the human psychology, the trauma, childhood traumas, etc. And what I learned, also a bit through my personal experience, is that the more we lean onto the manipulation because we feel insecure, because we want to manipulate, we want to control the situation because we feel insecure. So the more we stay in this kind of energy, the more we will just resonate with this kind of energy in the complementary sense in the other person. Then we are just attracting people who are only hooked through insecurities. So you see, what I feel that is lacking is this sense of real connection, true connection. And I can tell you, like, most of my relationships, I was able to actually have this true connection. And well, the problem with those relationships that despite there was love, there was genuine love, the problem was more because of we didn't know how to navigate in the relationships, and we didn't know how to navigate with each other's trauma, with the conflicts. Then because of that, then we eventually separated. That's one of the biggest issues. Well, there was another relationship that was because of the external factors. But anyways, there was one relationship, the one in which the only one that I didn't feel the genuine heart-to-heart connection and that we never fell in love with each other was actually the one when I was so focused on manifesting a relationship that works, that looks good on the paper, that I actually ended up manifesting exactly what I wanted, but without the connection. And at that time, I was still, understanding all these learnings about the masculine and the feminine. And at that time, I was fresh out of a connection that we were in love with each other, but there were issues, and then we broke up because we wouldn't be able to be together. And then I was fresh out of this connection, and then I was so focused on manifesting a relationship with all the things in the right place. Then I manifested someone who had a really stable and good career, who was in love with his own life, who had kids, who basically looked really good on paper. And I also looked very good on paper for him because I was also a single mother, and I also have a stable career, and I am also in love with my life. And yeah, I had all the things that ticked his boxes. And he also had the things that apparently ticked my boxes. And because I was in that mindset, mentality, energy, then you see, what resonated with me was exactly the complementary relationship person. And then because I was so focused on that, I ignored the red flags that my intuition was telling me. So it's not that he was a bad person or anything, but there were issues that made it impossible, psychological issues and compatibility issues from the personalities that made us incompatible and that we could never really have a real deeper connection with each other. So because I was so focused on what looks good on the paper, then I didn't manifest what I always manifested, which was the real genuine connection. So this is why I want you to really reflect. If you are learning about relationships through online content, to books, to everything, I want you to be very careful and reflect on what you really want for your relationships, what is really important for you, and what really should be the tips about, should be the advices about. Because in my perspective, they should be about making a connection better, more possible. They should be the structure around the connection that can grow. So if there isn't the connection at all, then the structure itself wouldn't be of any use for that relationship in particular. So I really don't agree with, you can make just anyone fall in love with you. Yeah, you can make it appealing for most of the people. But it's still, when it comes to deeper and genuine connections, really falling in love and all that thing, it is more of it and it is more organic. And if you really want to manifest a relationship that has a genuine connection, you have to do the inner work to make it possible. Because you see, many of us actually make it more difficult to manifest that, not partially because we don't know how to maintain relationships or choose ideal partners, but also because we have often so much insecurity, so much limiting beliefs that are actually blocking us. And we don't even realize it because it's often very subconscious. So when we, for example, imagine that you are after a breakup and you want to manifest love again, you have to first understand how are you really, really feeling inside of you. Because I can tell you, for example, after my divorce a few years ago, I didn't realize it until some months ago that I actually carry this fear of building a life together with someone again. Because you see, like marrying someone, having kids with them, and then things actually not working, and then the divorce process, all the things, it can be very traumatic and very draining and very scary. So I didn't realize that. I was actually scared of doing that again. And I always thought that, I want love again and I want to have a real relationship again and etc. But I didn't know that, and that had an impact, especially on the relationship that I manifested after my divorce, which we had a really deep connection. And you see, I entered that connection starving for real connection. And the person that I manifested was also starving of connection. So we had this really deep, intense connection, like emotionally, physically, intellectually, and yeah, psychologically, etc. So we had this deep connection, but then we also actually brought in a lot of our own traumas and unhealthy patterns and insecurities. Then, because all of that came in so intense, and we didn't have the proper tools to learn how to navigate together, eventually we had to separate because it was a lot. But yeah, so I'm still very grateful for that relationship because it was the relationship that initiated me in the masculine and feminine polarity, in being aware of our masculine and feminine essences within us and within relationships. But yeah, so when we learn about relationship advices and tips, what's important to understand that all the things that we learn is to understand better the connection that exists and how to make the connection that exists flourish in a more free and better way, free from the traumas, free from the limiting beliefs, and navigating better. For example, when I know that men usually need more space after a conflict, then I wouldn't take it personally. Because if I take it personally, then I would just aggravate with my insecurities. I would like maybe go talk to him like, hey, like this is not all right, and etc. And then would trigger him more, and then yeah, you see the effect, right? So by me learning about masculine and feminine energies, then we can understand each other better. Like he can also understand how women might operate, what are their usual patterns, and then have more understanding and grace for each other. So we shouldn't learn that really for manipulating people. Like, I don't know, maybe unless you are a sugar baby or you are a secret agent and you need to get intel, I don't know. But if you really want a genuine connection, if you really want a long term with a life partner, then it's really important to learn the things, learn the relationship tips and advices with the mindset that this is going to help me improve and navigate on relationship challenges so that the connection can grow even deeper and not to just make anyone fall in love with us. Because, if it really doesn't happen, if let's say I meet the guy and then we don't really have feelings for each other, then it's fine because there are still many people in this world. Like before divorce, I used to worry about what if I don't meet anyone that I'm compatible with. And then I met more people that I am even more compatible with, have even deeper connection. And the connection just gets deeper and deeper by time. So when we are able to work on letting go of our worries, which are what actually has limiting beliefs that clouds us, that makes us, leads us to have certain patterns, certain behaviors that are not conducive for manifesting healthier relationships. When we are able to work with that, and then we have this mindset of learning about relationship skills to improve the connections that we have, the genuine love and connections that we have, then we are able to really have better connections, better, better bonds with each other. And yeah, don't worry if you think, oh, what if I don't find anyone and all, because the more authentic you are, actually the more courageous you are able to embrace yourself and accept yourself and then expose the true essence of yourself, which is not easy. It took me time to actually be like a more more expressive, less afraid of making mistakes. Like, for example, I am filming this in one go, and I don't talk 100% eloquently, right? I make small mistakes during my speech, but I still like feel nowadays more like relaxed and not worrying so much about, okay, oh, I make mistakes, or oh, what if people don't like me? Like, we cannot please everyone. And the more we are able to just be ourselves, like the more we are just resonating easier with people who are naturally resonating and compatible with us. So when we are more courageous to be authentic, then it is already a huge job that we do that makes it possible to manifest someone with whom we can have a more genuine, real connection. Because the more we are in our performance mental state instead of being in the heart space, the more we're on the mental space, the more we resonate with people on the mental level. So that, oh, he ticks all my boxes of what looks good, and I tick all the boxes of what looks good for him. But then we don't really have the genuine connection. So, yeah, but you might ask, hey, then I don't worry about my list. No, it's like when you meet someone, you have a love list, which is like the list of non-negotiables in love and the nice to haves, for example. Then you see, does he have all the must-haves that I need in a relationship to make things work? And then, yeah, you also see if there is a genuine connection. So, yeah, so basically, genuine connection, is it there? If it is there, then also is the structure, like the must-haves there? So because the must-haves are what makes it possible for the connection to grow. Like, for example, does he have stability in his life? And if he doesn't, because if he doesn't have stability, maybe he's not ready to settle. So even if there's a genuine connection, you might not be able to hold it or have it flourish, because then imagine, oh, tomorrow he's saying, oh, I'm not sure about this relationship, I need to work on another country, and then you get insecure, and then because of that, then you guys argue and all, then there is no deeper connection that is possible in the long run. Yeah. So I hope that this video is helpful. And if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, stay tuned and see you later. Bye.